Hello, Billy Ho here, coming at you for the 2023 Scottish Open. I'm joined by my man David, the DFS chef, and we are going to look at some DraftKings pricing, some early ownership, maybe talk a little bit of weather. I might get his take on what he's thinking about the weather coming up. Just look at some key pivots, possible plays down low, and who we might go, and maybe some lineup construction thoughts. So I'll welcome in David. How are you doing today, buddy?
I've been good. It's been a few weeks since we've had a chance to sit down and talk, but no complaints. Looking forward to this week. And obviously, we have the alternate field event if anyone's interested, even though there's no money involved in it, but it's there.
Yep, yeah, and we were just talking about that, and I'm local. I'm from Louisville, Kentucky, so it's just a stone's throw down the road from me in Nicholasville, Kentucky, the Barbasol Championship, and there's some names there. There'll be some people. I might look in it and maybe play a couple of lineups, but I'm not really. I'm already kind of committed into this Scottish Open bigger field. So what we're going to do is jump right on in and get you some pricing. So here we go. Okay, and we are on Rick Run Good site right now because I wanted to get an idea on what the ownership was. I just kind of briefly took a look at it and jotted down some notes a little earlier. What we're looking at. So obviously the pink and the red are all up top, just like always. We got four players, 10K and above. Scotty Scheffler, the only 11K player, and he is a whopping 11.6. And I agree with it. I heard on another pod this morning, I think DraftKings priced it like John Rahm was in the field. So you would have saw John Rahm about 11.4 or 11.2 right there, just above Rory, I do believe, because even in my preview video, I mentioned Rahm because I thought he was in the field, but evidently he's not. So anyway, you got Xander and Cantlay rounding out the top four there, and then we get into the 9K guys. And I'm going to kick it over to David and give us some quick thoughts on what he's looking at this week as we get into the tournament.
Well, I mean, when we go across the pond and we go to Scotland and England and all these Ireland, I mean, this is where golf was invented. So you expect to see courses that are hundreds of years old, where we come to the Renaissance Club here, and it's relatively new. It's a baby compared to the courses that are in
Oh,
Scotland and
definitely, yeah.
these places. Tom Doak design. So it's something that it's we don't have much history, at least at this course. We've only got until 2018, so it's only been the last 5 years that we've got history here. But from what we've seen out of this particular course, driving distance is something that you really want to focus on this week. Each and every week, approach is going to be a main factor. Around the green this week is going to come into play. We've got fescue, right? On the green. So
100% fescue grass all the way
yeah,
around. So it's going
yeah.
to
So
be some slow rolling.
yeah, we're not going to have much data when it comes to fescue greens, but obviously Rick, if anyone's going to have it, it's going to be Rick, but we're still not going to have a ton of, data when we try and go by course, by
Yeah.
green type. I saw, at least on his, course key stats off to the side where he always has it with 3-putt avoidance seems like it's going to be something to look at this week.
Absolutely.
So I have that down on my model. Birdie or better, obviously. When we talk scoring, obviously it's going to depend on what the weather is going to trend. We've seen it where, at least at this course, when there's been no weather, the guys go really low because realistically, the only defense this course has is the weather. And then we've seen it where the wind comes into play, like Xander last year, the wind was kicking,
Oh,
and
yes.
the scores were not as low. I think Xander won at -7. The year that Minwoo won, I think he was like -18 or 19 or whatever it is. But still, birdie or better is going to come into play because that's where you're getting your scoring from. You're going to see scrambling. You're going to see sand save percentage. And then what I've mentioned the last few times we've recorded shows, I'm starting to really look at birdie to bogey ratio as one of my key stats. Um, so for me, when we talk to these guys, 9K and above,
Sounds like a plan.
all these guys, realistically, you could make a case for. Wyndham Clark is ranking out second in my model. Now, obviously, it's based on the entire year's PGA stats. So
Right.
when we get down lower, you're going to see guys that are not grading well that play mainly DP World Tour, but we're going to talk about them because they're definitely going to be in play this
Oh
week.
yeah.
But you know, for me, it's going to be you got to take a stand. And you see Lowry's not grading out well, but he's been playing good golf. And if the wind's going to kick up, which from the current forecast, the wind looks like it's going to be somewhat similar to last year. Lowry is always a good wind player. He's won the Open Championship, hasn't really played this event too many times, but I do think that he is viable this week. Actually prefer, even though Spieth was T10 here last year, I actually prefer Lowry over Spieth, as at least my personal opinion, just because Spieth, we always know that the guy can spray it off the tee. Um,
Mhm.
if you miss the fairway by a tiny bit, not so bad. But if you spray it, you could definitely get into some trouble here. And that's what
Mhm.
concerns me a little bit about Spieth. Fleetwood, great history, but ah, God, I know we're overseas, and it's when we're in the U.S. I can never play Fleetwood when it's this much.
Yeah.
I'm still having a hard time swallowing playing Fleetwood at this price. I'd rather try and find the extra money to get up to other guys. The 10K plus guys, it's hard. I mean, Xander won it this last year. Scotty missed the cut last year, but the run that Scotty is on is just ridiculous. So, and I mentioned driving distance is going to be one of the key factors I'm looking at. And I know I just watched Rick's preview video, and I hate to say this, but I think I'm probably right now going Scotty and Rory up top, and you can see that it looks like most of the industry is. So I might have to try and pivot somewhere, and the pivot might be at least, and I'm sure he's going to gain ownership, but looking at Matt Fitzpatrick's projected ownership right now,
Yeah.
and his history here,
That won't stay. No
it's
way.
not. Yeah, it's got to go up. But as of right now, if it's going to be that, I might have to play some Matt Fitzpatrick and be overweight versus the field on Matt Fitzpatrick, especially in GPPs.
Yeah, that was kind of where I was looking at when I first saw it, and I was like, nah, that's not going to stay. And the Rory, I do believe that Rory will be higher owned than Scotty. I'm hearing a lot more Rory talk than Scotty talk, and I guess it's because it's overseas and it's but it's of course Rory hasn't really exactly done much of anything. I mean, they put that. I think it only goes back 4 years at the Renaissance. So I mean, he
Mhm.
had that 34th in 2019. He didn't play it last year, and then he missed the cut the year before. Scotty missed the cut last year, but he was 12th the year before when it was just kind of the regular DP type. But Scotty goes as Scotty putts, and maybe to change the surface to the fescue, but he didn't really grade out as a good slow greens putter. I kind of ran that in my model with slow greens. He didn't really rate that well, and it just might be just overall maybe I don't know. It goes back to maybe like Pebble and places in that of that nature that are coastal courses that have slower greens. So, but I don't think you're going to be wanting to dismiss Scotty. Not when he struggles putting and he's still top fives across the board. 11-6 is a tall order, but I think you can get it done. Uh, what I'm going to do is be instead of taking stands up top, I'm going to spread. I'm going to probably have a piece of all four of these guys up top, even Fitz. I might just go because I think once you start getting down into the nines, you can double them. I think
Yep.
because you could definitely play a Hovland Hatton. So I'm going to be able to get two of these guys in a single lineup. So I might even just like all the way down to 93. And I like actually, I like your take on Lowry because I think it's pretty interesting because he's been playing really, really well. And I don't think it matters that I don't think debutantes or people that haven't seen this course matter because a ton of them came out and you know shot it up last year. I mean, Alex Smiley was T10 last year, and I guarantee you he never set foot there before. So I could see Lowry, but Spieth, I looked at his form, and his form is almost identical to what it was coming into this tournament last year when he finished 10th, and he only gained about a half a stroke on the field putting in that event. And I think that's about what he gained in the last in the U.S. Open when he failed to make the cut. but he had the fifth before at Memorial, so I'm not too worried. I think a lot of people struggled. I mean, the Travelers, missing the cut at Travelers is one thing, but I just wait a minute. I think I got off my rocker here. U.S. Open. I'm sorry. I was like Travelers. He didn't play Travelers, but yeah, missing that cut at U.S. Open. I think that was like a really awkward driving golf course for him. So he really struggled there. Wyndham Clark, I'm with you. I mean, he came in 16th last year, and he's playing considerably better this year. So if you're going to give me 10% Wyndham Clark, I think he's going to be the second man in a lot of these lineups. He's the perfect guy to go with if you want to go way up top with Scotty, Rory, Xander, and I'm sure that's going to be a popular build. But I don't care because I'm going to get different down here. Because once we get down here to these lower numbers, everybody's going to be like friggin' 5% owned or whatever. So I'm not sweating the ownership up top. But like you said, Fitz is the pivot. I'm digging that. So as we cruise into the 8,900 and below range, we'll just go down to we'll just do the eights for this one, and then I'll kick it over to you. Minwoo, we're getting a lot of chatter in the Discord about Minwoo. Obviously, he won here the year before, playing pretty daggone good golf here lately in the States. So the competition is there, and the dude just hammers it off the tee. So I'm going to be liking him, especially if he's 5% owned. The price is high. He's $26 on Yahoo, and that's what we were talking about. Him and Aaron Rye were the same price on Yahoo, 26. Well, here on DK, he's 1,100 more. So that tells you all you need to know there. He's going to be overpriced and lower owned. Homa evidently is getting some love at 16%. I'm not really sure where I land on him because his driver's been a problem, but he was 16th here last year. And then you got a whole slew of really good players. Tom Kim is interesting, even though he screwed me at the Rocket Mortgage. And would have cost. I mean, he legit cost me like hundreds of dollars missing that cut because the lineups that I won money on were missing Tom Kim, and having him in a birdie fest over the weekend would have been considerably more money. But I digress. Down here, you got Aberg, 8,200. He was $20 on Yahoo. People in our Discord have been complaining about Yahoo pricing. That's why I quit playing Yahoo. I played it when they first started because it was easy to win, but the pricing is just so jacked up. They got guys that are $39 that should be $20 and guys that are $20 that should be $39. So I don't know what to do with Aberg there, but the dude has been rolling it out. But 20%, I'm going to be finicky on him in this field because they're like, oh, Ludwig Aberg, he's a foreign guy. He's a Euro guy. He's Ludwig. No, not really. He's played in like 2 DP tour events and they were like middling finishes at best. So he's been playing over in the States in college. I'm not sure. I'd have to deep dive his family history when he moved over to the States or however, but he's not really what I would consider like the DP World Tour guys. So I'm out on him. JT would be a guy that I wouldn't mind playing, but we all know where we don't know. Well, actually, we don't know where his head's at lately because, he drew everybody back in with the ninth at Travelers. And then, of course, he fucks everybody at the Rocket that go back to him, giving him a chance. But this, if it plays tougher, I'll consider him. But like you said, if it's soft, there's a lot of rain in the forecast. I'm leaning more toward the low to mid teens for the winter. I don't think the wind's going to be that bad till Sunday. If it's just 15 miles an hour, I don't think that's that bad. It's going to have to really gust more than that. But rain is in the forecast all week, all day, all night. Tee times are out. So I'm not really sure where I would lean on a wave stack. Maybe PM AM, just because most of the guys I liked were in the PM already. But the one thing I did see was that the wind seemed to be a little bit down in the morning Friday. So I think that the PM AM wave might do it. But as far as the 8K range goes, I'm going to have very little. I mean, I might be just skipping right over this range because the pool I have written down is nothing but 9K and up guys. And then there's Minwoo. And then it jumps immediately into the 7Ks. So, and that might be a lot of builds, but that's just where I'm at right now. Go ahead.
You just said exactly what I was going to tell you about the 8K range. I am going to be fading everybody in the 8K range. I'm not playing anybody. Um, Aberg was, you'd be looking at him, but then you also look at least right now, almost 20% projected ownership, at least what Rick is showing on his site. Um, Aberg might be what Dylan Wu was last week. Dylan Wu was like 20% and missed the cut. I'm not
Yeah.
going to say Aberg's going to miss the cut, but at 20% projected ownership, I will gladly pass on Ludwig Aberg, and I probably will not play anyone in the 8K range this week, despite how good some of these names are. Some of them are just playing just terribly with their recent form, like you mentioned, Homa, Burns, Thomas. If they have a good week, so be it. I'll let them beat me. I'm going up top and then I'm dropping down low into the next range here at
Yeah.
seven Ks. And like you mentioned, Alex Smalley, who came in here last year for the first time and had the T10, he's been playing some really good golf, striking the ball well. If I'm not mistaken, I believe he's over like the last several rounds. He's like at least on the PGA tour. I think the only guy that's better than him on approach or tee to green is Scotty Scheffler. I think I read that somewhere. Um, so Smalley's someone I'm going to look at. Aaron Rai, obviously past champion here. He's been playing good golf. It's kind of up and down,
Mm-hmm.
um, but I don't mind Aaron Rai. Obviously, the length off the tee is something that would hurt him. Um, Lucas Herbert is someone I might have an eye on, but to me, he might be priced up a little bit too much because the other Euros that we're going to start mentioning, like Fox, who's a bomber, hasn't had the greatest finishes here, but Fox is someone I'm looking at. Uh, Thomas Dietrich, who has not missed the cut here in the 5 times it's been played at this course.
I
Um,
like him.
he's someone I'm looking at, and as you can see, his projected ownership is a little on the high side.
Yeah.
Uh,
I'm okay with that though.
yeah, Robbie Mack has had. I thought I had seen that Robbie Mack has had decent finishes here.
I thought the same thing when I was looking. He was actually in like the very first build when I make the Billy Ho contest. I was going through here and I saw his name and I was like, Bobby
I,
Mack, left-hander. Like I thought he had a good finish too, but
I
it's
think
showing he
that
missed the cut.
he missed the cut last year, but I think that there's something wrong with Rick's site
Well,
because
yeah, I was going to say
I can tell you right
you
now
got recent form here or
he's
tournament
missed the cut.
history. So
He's
let's see.
missed the cut twice. He missed it in let's see,
There it
2022,
is.
2019, and last year he missed it, and then he had 2 top 20s snuck in between. So
Yeah.
so I think there's something up with the way Rick has Robert McIntyre spelled. He probably needs to go back in there
Oh,
and take a
right.
look at that. So Robbie Mack is someone I'm going to be looking at. Alexander Bjork is a guy that I'll be looking at.
Definitely.
Another guy that at the times that he's played this has not missed the cut here, and he's also been playing exceptional golf in the DP World Tour this year. So Bjork is someone I'm going to look at. Maronk's been playing really well in the DP World Tour, but I don't know if I'm going to go to Maronk. I definitely prefer Bjork over Maronk. Um, Norin Norin always lets me down, so I don't know
I
where I'm
know
at with Norin.
he does
But
me too.
but Thorborn Olesen is going to be someone I'm going to be looking at as a Euro player for lineup builds this week. If
Interesting.
I'm not mistaken, uh, I got to look at his stats. I'm going to start doing a little bit more deep diving on these Euro guys. Yannick Paul, if I'm not mistaken, has been playing it very very well in the DP World Tour this year. Uh, Padraig Harrington, obviously, this is kind of his home area here.
Yeah.
Most of his, I mean, if you look at his stats on Rick's site, they're flying off the charts. But you got to look at it and say most of that is champion tour stats. So it's a little
That's
skewed.
true. But he's
It's
made cuts.
definitely
He's made cuts in the PGA Tour events he's played though. So
exactly. So that's why I think he's viable this week. Higo all of a sudden has seemed to have found something, and just like Robbie Mack, another lefty,
yeah.
he's someone I might be interested in this week. So those are definitely some of the Euro guys. Otegi exactly at 7K. Another guy that does pretty well here, as well as Matthew Jordan. And I know Matthew Jordan is if I'm not mistaken, is an English goal guy who normally plays on the DP World Tour. So
Yeah.
I'll be looking at Matthew Jordan. As far as like the guys on the PGA Tour that I might be looking at this week, Brandon Wu was awesome here last year, but I, I don't think I'm going to get to him.
Yeah.
Doug Gim's probably the guy that's on the PGA Tour that I might be looking at this week. He's just been playing really good golf lately, striking the ball well. And he's also been putting the ball pretty well. And then obviously a guy who's got very high ceiling potential, but can also be the Ricky Bobby of your lineups this week. Tagala is someone that I got to keep an eye on as well.
Yeah. Where is he? Is he an 8K guy or what? I forgot what his price was.
7,600.
76. Okay, that's fair because they typically overpriced the gala.
Yeah.
But I think he must have got down in the sevens. If he'd have played here last year and made the cut, he'd have been over $8,000. I guarantee it.
Yeah.
So, but I'm with you on all these guys. I do believe there was somebody I was trying to think. Oh, Smalley. Smalley's a guy that you talk about getting your goat. He's such a great ball striker, but the putter can ruin him. And every time I've kind of gone after him, the putter's cost him a cut. But he's really playing some good golf, and I do think that maybe the change in surface is going to be big, and he's putting the ball pretty well right now. Aaron Rise is the same way, and I do believe this fescue stuff is like an equalizer for Team No Putt. So because guys just aren't used to this. Fescue grass for one is different, and it's made slow for a reason because it's a wide open coastal course. Obviously, wind plays a factor. They don't want the ball being blown around. Absolutely on par with you with Detry. He's just playing. He's just been on the PGA Tour because what I wanted to do was find some guys with European experience, but have been over here playing against the competition of PGA. And like Minwoo, Thomas Detry, even Ryan Fox has played a lot over here. But Gim, same boat, striking it beautifully, 16th last year. I will give Kitayama a shot too. Second place here last year against the PGA DP field, and he is about the same form as he was last year coming in. I looked at it and I thought, well, Kitayama hadn't been playing really all that great lately, but he missed 3 cuts in a row before he went to Scotland anyway last year. And because it was US Open, it was just courses that didn't fit his mold, like Travelers US Open type courses. And that short, that different course in LA, not his jam. He likes the wide open stuff where he can just bomb it out there 330 yards. And basically what this course offers is a very low percentage of made fairways anyway. I think like the number one guy was literally Cam Smith last year, who was like barely 50% above 50% hit fairways. Because technically you don't have to, if you're just close to the fairway, you're 9 times out of 10 going to be fine unless you find a pot bunker or the gorse grass or you get in just an unplayable situation. So I kind of dig that. I don't know if I'm gonna be down with anybody like Cole but I'm glad you mentioned that McIntyre thing because I kind of like pivoted off of him because I thought, well, maybe I was wrong about his recent success at this course, but evidently I was right the first time. So getting down here a little further, Cam Davis came up. I like this because he grips it and rips it off the tee, and he's been playing good golf lately. And the dude tears up some par fives. So what we got is 4 par fives on this par 71 golf course and a drivable par 4. So there's 5 different holes that you're going to be demanded to make birdie on. And so I'm digging him. I noticed, actually, I'll give you credit if I play him and he does well, Andrew Putnam. I know he's got, I think this 4th was on the Renaissance. I'm not mistaken, but
Yep.
he's 16th in your model, which I thought was interesting. But the one thing he has been good at is putting. So I don't know if his skills are negated here at all, but I do have my eye on him. Keith Mitchell, 7,200. That is just wow. Okay, that's a good price for him. and he won't get much ownership because he hasn't really been playing that well, but he hasn't been playing that bad either. So he made the cut here last year. 7,200 is worth the risk. But I was with you on everybody else down here. I mentioned Victor Perez in the chat. French-born golfer, but he resides in Edinburgh, Scotland, which is a less than an hour drive from the golf course. So I imagine he tools up there and plays it from time to time. I know he missed the cut here last year, but he's got a couple of made cuts before, and he is recent form. I'll do some more digging into him, but I am going to give him a look. But getting down here and just a few guys in the 6Ks, there was a Mathau Pavon is a guy that I'll look at. He's got some good history here. He's been playing good golf, and I'm going to be the one of the few guys to pronounce it right. But it's Romain Langasque. It's the Lan and then Gask. Langasque is how you say that properly. He's 6,900. Let's see, you mentioned Borg. Oh, Wacky Valimaki is what Pat Mayo calls him. He's only 6,400. I'm going to have an interest in him down here. Sammy Valimaki, he made the cut here against the tougher competition. So he's a pretty solid golfer in his own right. There's a few other guys. So I'll let you finish this off here down low there, Dave.
Yeah, the names you mentioned, I'm also going to be looking at. Another guy that I'm going to have to do a little bit more of a deep dive on, but definitely has got winning upside, and you've seen it in the past, is Eddie Pepperell, who's another English guy. Then there is you already mentioned Adri Arno at 6,500 is someone I might be looking at. Connor Simi, who's had success at this course, as well as Jamie Donaldson is another guy I'm going to start doing a little bit deeper dives on, because obviously all these guys are playing a lot more DP World Tours. You don't see these guys, come across the pond often. So those are guys I'm definitely going to look at this week, under 7K.
All right. That sounds good, man. I believe that's going to do it for the show this week. I appreciate Dave joining me, and we're going to try to hopefully hook up again next week for the big open for the British Open. And so until the next time, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, by the way. Race to 1,000 subscribers. I'm 90-ish, 90, 91 away. So let's get that done. Smash the like, leave some comments. And until the next time, see you soon.